Hello, speakers. Welcome to our virtual conference platform. First, you're going to navigate to virtual2021.publicgardens.org. When you arrive at this website, you're going to click Log In, and you're going to be able to log in using your association account. Now, this is the same login credentials that you use on our association website. If you have any question about those credentials, or if you're not a member and you're speaking, please reach out to info@publicgardens.org and we'll be sure to help you out. So once you're logged in, it's going to bring you into our annual conference website. Once you're in this website, first of all, if you haven't filled out your presenter waiver, please take the time to go under for presenters and fill out that presenter waiver for us. During the conference itself, one of the things that's going to be really useful is My Dashboard. Within My Dashboard, you can do things like update your profile so that other people can interact with you. You'll be able to do things like provide your title, if you're a first-time attendee, different details along that line, as well as providing your Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook page for people to be able to learn more about you if you're interested in doing that. Please note that for Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, it's just the ending. You don't need the www.twitter.com, just whatever that personalized ending is for you. The other really great thing as a speaker you may be interested about on this is this sessions I'm speaking at. Whenever you click on sessions I'm speaking at, it's going to display all those sessions that you are speaking at. Or you can always go up to the schedule of events. And on the schedule of events, you'll be able to also see in this schedule any events that you're speaking at as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at this session that you are speaking at. So whenever you go into a session that you're speaking at, you are already going to be able to see the video that you've pre-recorded with us. As you can see, the video is already displaying for me, and so if I click play, I'll then be able to watch it. Any attendees will not actually be able to view this video until the session begins. Usually they can access it starting about 10 minutes prior to the session start. They can then check into the session and watch live, at which point the video will pop up. Let's look at all these different functions over here on the right. So first of all is you listed and your co-speakers listed as underneath the speakers tab. Those people who are attending can actually click on your name and request a virtual business card, which we'll be putting out some videos later detailing all the different aspects of communicating with each other using virtual business cards, messages, etc. You can also see who is moderating your session and who is attending your session. Right now, because my session isn't open, no attendees have been able to check into this session. Once the session opens, attendees can check in and they'll be able to continue checking into your session basically until this website gets taken down years from now. So this content will live infinitely. So that's kind of a breakdown of the speakers, moderators, and attendees. You can also utilize the chat function. So as you can see here, Bailey has already chatted me that she is super excited about this session. So I'm going to respond to her and say, so glad that you're attending. I can also, so I can send a response to her. I can like her comment. I can also create my own comment that I want to post. And then this can also open up comment threads. So you don't have to just create a new chat for each conversation. Instead, Bailey, for example, can respond to my comment and then we can carry on from there. And so these really allow for some interactive conversations to occur with your attendees. So you can also use a Q&A function here. So if you click on Q&A, it is possible for both you to ask questions to other speakers as well as for attendees to ask questions to you. Now, one of the limitations of this platform is that because you have to choose a speaker, only the speaker who is selected can respond to the question. So just please note that and know that if a question has been directed to you, you'll be the only one who can actually answer that question. Your co-presenters can't answer it. So as you can see here under the answered tab, Bailey asked me, how am I doing today? And I had already responded. And so that moves her question under answered. However, I can look for any unanswered questions under the unanswered tab. And so here, as Bailey is asking me questions, I can then once again answer her questions. Once I've submitted my answer, it will then once again move under the answered tab. And so you'll be able to see all those questions that have been asked and answered. It'll be the same for all the attendees as well, where they're able to see all the questions that have been asked and answered. Whenever a question is asked, that question comes both under the unanswered tab. It should pop up with kind of a notification on the page as you're in your session. This will also come as an email into your inbox. Whenever it comes in as an email, you cannot respond to that email with your answer. You will actually have to go back into your session and respond to that question in your session. Please note that we'll be leaving the chat and Q&A open for the entirety of the conference. We encourage you to check back and answer any chats or questions that come through even outside of your session time. But of course, this isn't a requirement. It's just an encouraged practice. Finally, the last aspect that you can use is polls. So you can create a new poll whenever you are in your session. You can create this ahead of time. You can create it on the day of. You can create it after the session. So what color is the sky? Blue, green, and then I can also add additional options here as well. Once I publish that poll, it's then going to be made available to my attendees. Once you've created the poll, you'll also be able to view live results. So once the session opens up, then your users will be, or your attendees will be able to fill out the poll and answer it, and you'll be able to view the results live. Other polls will be where you can find polls that are created by your other speakers. So if you're in a session where there's multiple speakers and they create a poll, you'll be able to see the polls they created here and participate in those as well. This entire session can also be viewed full screen by clicking this view full screen. And this looks very much like a Zoom session would look like. So you can see the entire full screen, and then you still have access to chat, Q&A, and polls over here on the right. One of the great things about these using this platform and about these sessions is the ability to continue conversations even after the session is over. So as I've mentioned, once the video goes live, attendees will actually be able to go back and watch it throughout the conference. So for example, if somebody didn't attend your session, they could actually come back and watch the video that evening, the next day, whenever they have the time to and they're interested in doing so. One of the great things is, let's say that you get into a conversation with someone and you're really interested in continuing that conversation. You can pursue that a couple of different ways. So one is you can continue using the chat or Q&A functions, of course, or I can also request people's business cards through this. I can also use this messaging that is down in the bottom right-hand corner to search for an attendee and start a conversation with them. When I search for an attendee and start a conversation with them, not only do I have my own private chat with them, but I can also even invite them to join me in a conference call. Let's say that you have a group of people who are really interested in your subject. You can even take those people and create a room with them to further that conversation, in which you can have group chats and group calls. We hope that this introduction to how to use our system is beneficial to you, and that you understand a little bit more about the interactivity you can have with attendees. For any questions, follow up with your staff liaison.